Since 2019, we have faced a pandemic, an economical war, a recession, which is said to last us for the next 48 months, and an apparent monkeypox pandemic. I don't know which one is which, but I'm overly concerned. So, as final year students or people who probably just got their first jobs or are working for the first time, um, our language of money is neither here nor there, or the intelligence of it. And to be frank, I don't think you can store your money under the bed and presume that's a very good financial decision. So I'll be sharing a bit about precious metal. Welcome to the General Show. So the big question on everyone's lips are, why are precious metals such a good investment? So first and foremost, I'd like to say I've been a avid precious metal investor since 2018. So what I'm talking about is based on personal experience and is in no way financial advice. So precious metals are a very good investment according to me because of their many best benefits, right? Because they have been backdated for a few thousand years in times of instability, wars, plagues, or whatever form of turmoil the world was going through. They were a safe haven. People could preserve their wealth, and it offered them financial security during a financial crisis. So, the reason precious metals are good investments is because they have inherent value, because they are physical. Remember, these aren't ETFs or form of bonds or anything else. These are physical, tangible assets. It has a finite resource, which literally means that there's only a set amount of it which will ever be available. So imagine if you own such a precious thing, you see? And the nice thing about it is it's not controlled by a specific government, a financial institution, or a body which regulates anything. It only has bodies which watch over it so that there's minimal fraud and so forth. And also, the nice thing is you can't simply print more gold if you want to, as the Americans do with the dollar. Hence, we have such a horrible economic crisis on our hands because they overprinted the dollar. And the nice thing is, precious metal isn't determined just like how fiat currency, like the Rand, dollar, or whatever, it's not determined on those factors. It has its own unique advantage and it results with numerous benefits when you invest in it. So, one of the very first forms of benefits of investing in precious metals would be their security. The security of an investment is a very good thing because precious metals aren't like stocks or other paper assets. They are secure in such a way that they have their own determinants as to why they're such strong hedges against inflation. And they help with diversifying a portfolio because you can own silver or gold, which is a very good form of security. So regardless of whatever is happening, whether in JSE, Wall Street, or your next door neighbor's door jumped over, you're still perfectly fine. And the second thing is it offers protection. Very few assets within a person's portfolio offer protection for you and your family, right? From a political or economical uncertainty. Imagine the people who come from the original country called Rhodesia. If they had more gold, maybe, just maybe, they'd be more financially secure. I'm sure there are a few who are able to get precious metal in their portfolio. So the protection would either come through gold, silver, platinum, or copper as a different variation of investment, right? So when I talk about diversification, it is basically means that putting your wealth into different pots, right? Because most investors either invest in a lot of stocks, in a lot of shares, in a lot of bonds. So it is all dependent on the economy and not necessarily diversified with a form of investment which is independent of the exchange market, you see. So this tends to have a lot of fluctuation, which is not good for your portfolio, because remember, if you put something in investment, it must work for you whether in good or in bad times to its maximum capability. So diversification literally is the best thing, because as they say, I can't put all of my eggs in one basket, because what if they all break? Another added benefit is it has growth potential. As a finite resource, precious metals have unique growth potential. Gold and silver have provided tremendous returns in the past, and many analysts believe today's prices are a bargain. For some investors, this makes precious metals as an attractive alternative to place their money in low yielding bonds or stagnant savings account. Remember, as I mentioned on the last video, that it's near useless for me to have a savings account where it's like 6%, but then when you check the charges, they also amount to 6%. So it's like canceling it out. You see? So it's those type of things. Also, there's an increased demand in gold everywhere in the world, because more and more governments are sort of moving away from the petrodollar system, and they want to make themselves strong hedges within the economy. So what they're doing is they're purchasing more tons and tons of gold. For instance, about 533 tons of gold were bought in 2012 by numerous governments, right? Russia bought, and no wonder they're strong during this war. Turkey bought, Ukraine also bought, but I guess it's not enough for them for now. So the demand for precious metals will continue, and also from the numerous industries that use metals every day, there will be an increased demand on precious metals. So imagine the benefits for you as an owner, how much you'd be getting back. And also, there's a decreasing supply. Remember, as the demand for precious metals increases, the supply is decreasing because it's a finite resource. There's only so much gold and silver in the world that can be extracted, right? So obviously, it becomes a matter of things will become more and more expensive, right? So the sooner you own, the better for you and for your future, because remember, metals continue to be sought after for the use in medicine, machinery, and a myriad of other applications. You don't have to be an economical whiz to predict what could happen, because everyone needs gold or silver, either for a ring or something else. Also, precious metals have the ability to hedge against inflation. As I mentioned, we are literally facing a 48-month, well, an estimated at least 48-month inflation or recession period, you see. So as a dollar value continues to decline, many South Africans need metal to hedge it against the inflation and recession, because that will preserve their purchasing power. For instance, I read somewhere that 1 rand is no longer having the same purchasing value as 1 rand. It's literally 75 cents. So imagine how much money I need if there's a deficit of 25 cents per 1 rand. You see, that is a lot. So that is going to help with hedging against inflation. Also, one of the best benefits for me is privacy. Because your investments are your business and no one else's, precious metals are one of the few assets where you do not need to disclose that you own them specifically, whether be it a government, a bank, or financial institution. It is between you and the gold or silver broker that you're using, which is a very good financial investment, because it shows that you are able to diversify in such a good way. Also, liquidity is one of the major factors when one needs to invest in something, because liquidity, for instance, as a form of precious metals such as gold bullion, which I'll explain later on, are valued because of their metal content, their weight, and also that they're tangible, which makes them extremely liquid assets, because they're not influenced by the myriad of factors that threaten other investments, right? As I mentioned before. In fact, precious metals are amongst the most liquid assets possible to hold as an investment. Remember, if I have something which is liquid and is not dependent on many factors, it means that my form of gain is going to be higher than my form of loss. And that is what a person needs. As we're starting out with life, we need to maximize our investment potential, right? And also, when you buy them for physical possession, you always have access to them. It's good to have access and be able to touch or see or know where your assets are. It mustn't be like Bitcoin, where if someone is able to steal my key to access the coin, I have no form of security over it. With the different precious metals, there are numerous forms of security which ensure that you are in a very good place when you have invested into such assets. So there's mainly silver, gold, copper, platinum, and palladium as a form of precious metal investment. I'll do a video where I put it in detail to specify the types of precious metals. So what you're looking at right now is a 1 ounce gold Krugerrand coin, which in 2017 was worth a specific amount. So over the period of 5 years or so, it was able to move up, and it is now worth 32,900. Mind you, this is also a value which will continue to increase because of the many factors which make a precious metal a strong hedger against everything else. Because as I said, it's not dependent on the stock exchange, it's not determined on other things. Moreover, I think it's inversely proportional to the economy. So if the economy is sinking, it is most probably going to excel and so forth. But I stand to be corrected on the wording. But as far as I know, the longer I own gold is the more money that is going to make me through this economical uncertainty over a long period of time. What this diagram shows is it's a comparative analysis from the New York Times newspaper, which highlights the silver performance over a long period of time. So if I were to purchase it today, in its value, it would more or less amount to about 1 to 2% loss, because I have just bought it now. But then over a period of time, like 30 days, 6 months, a year, 5 years to 20 years, you can see that it cumulatively gains interest for the better, because as I said, the longer that you own it is the better that it performs, because it's been backdated to at least the early 1600s as a form of investment. Gold, on the other hand, is also a very strong performer, because it starts at 0.41% as a form of a decrease, but then over days and months and years it increases exponentially, which is a very good form of investment. As I mentioned, that if you put your money in an investment which has minimal factors of fluctuating or volatility, it increases your chances of having a return larger than the one which you brought in. There's a wise saying that you mustn't put all of your eggs in one basket, and I think I've just introduced everyone to a different form of diversification, which I hope everyone will invest into and will unfold how and why we should invest in it. So as we've all heard, there's a thing called Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. For me, I'm not necessarily a big fan of it, although I used to invest a lot of it. But over the years, I think from 2019 till now, most cryptocurrency coins have lost about 35 to 60% of their investment. Shares, bonds, stocks, ETFs themselves have fluctuated between 7 to 15% of a loss. And I know most people will tell you buy the dip or buy when it's low, but then my question is your volatility. How do you maximize your volatility if always someone announces something good, it goes up, someone announces bad, it goes down? My value of investment needs to be as solid as possible. So I'm sure after getting to this part of the video, you're wondering, where do I purchase precious metals? For me, I prefer to use RN Bullion. I'll have a link down on the description of RN Bullion, the website. They are a gold silver, or essentially a precious metal broker for regular South Africans at an affordable price. So on the next video, I'll be able to break that down, the different types of precious metals and everything else in between. Thank you very much for listening till this far. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and please do more research on precious metal investments, as it's worth it.